graphing systems of inequalities. There's not a whole lot new here. It's just the last section, two laid on top of each other. What's the part that's the answer? It's where the two shaded parts overlap. I'm going to graph two inequalities on one coordinate plane. I'm going to graph y is less than or equal to 2/3 x plus 1, and I'm going to graph x is greater than or equal to, now let's not put the equal in there, x is greater than 1. So I'm going to start by graphing let's start by graphing the red line. It's easier. Is that a vertical line or a horizontal line? It is a vertical line at x equals 1, but it's going to be dashed. So there's my line. And then I have to do my shading. So again, this is the type where I just need to think about what it means. Where is x greater than 1? So you have to be able to read these things, okay? X is greater than 1 over here. And try not to make this too dark. When I do it twice over, it gets a little dark. And the reason it's so important is because we're going to have to do a whole nother one on this. And it's real important that you make sure you go all the way up to the line, because our answer is going to be where the two shadings overlap. This one, we've got our y-intercept, we've got our slope, it's a fraction, we're happy. We have that visual of what the line is. Our y-intercept is 1. We're going to go up 2 and over 3, and up 2 and over 3. This is going to be a solid line, so I'm going to graph that side first. And then back to the middle, down 2 and over 3, down 2 and over 3. And so that looks like it's pretty close to my line. Now I have to decide which way I'm going to shade. So I'm going to go with the test point method to decide which way I'm going to shade. And so I'm going to pick, again, I'm just worrying about the blue line. And it's very clear that 0, 0 is below or to the right of the blue line. So I'm going to pick 0, 0 as my test point. I could pick any point that's not on that blue line. I couldn't pick 0, 1 because that would be true, but I'm picking 0, 0. So makes the math super easy, especially when you have a fraction. That way I don't care about that fraction because 0 times 2/3 is 0. So I have 0 is less than or equal to 1. That's true. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to shade the side that includes 0, 0, but I'm going to try, so again, my first test point was here. I'm going to try one up here just in case. I'm going to do -3, 3. Okay, my second test point that I'm going to pick is -3, 3. And so I'm going to pick y is less than or equal to 2/3 times x plus 1. So I'm going to put my y in here and my x in here. And so my 3's cancel, but don't forget about that negative. So this is -2. And so I get 3 is less than or equal to -1. That is false. So again, I'm going to shade where I got the true result. I'm going to shade the side that includes 0, 0. So I'm going to shade down here. So where is my answer? My answer is where the blue and the red overlap. So I'm going to do it really dark so that there is no confusion that this is where my answer is. That's my answer. Remember, it keeps going forever. You can, yeah. So the answer to the blue question is where the blue is. The answer to the red question is where the red is. The answer to both of them is where they overlap. So just make sure it's really clear. if somebody's trying to read this, where your answer is. I could do more, but that's it. I'm actually going to do one more because there's a common issue students have when you have something, you know, in relation to the coordinate plane. The biggest mistake students make who get the graphing well and get the numbers well and all that is if I have something like y is less than or equal to 4, and then I'm just going to do an easy line. I don't want to work too hard. Y is greater than x. So y is less than or equal to 4. It's going to be a horizontal line up at 4. It's solid. So here's a common mistake students make. When they go to shade and they shade that, here's what they do. And some of you did this with your number lines. Why would I stop there? There's nothing special about the axis. All these y values are less than 4, negative included. So make sure you don't stop when you get to axes. Make sure it's clear that it goes all the way up to your line and it just keeps going forever and ever. Okay, so there's the blue one. That one was an easy one. Y equals x. I should have that line totally in my mind. I'm going to talk through and tell you the y-intercept is 0, but you should have that line where it crosses all those little intersections when my slope is 1, 1 over 1. Now I can't use 0, 0 as my test point on this one because 0, 0 is on this line. So I'm going to have to pick a different test point, but I can make the math pretty easy. Whoops. Let's pick, I'll pick this, 3, 0. So 3, 0. Am I going to get that red one, my test point? I'm going to pick 3, 0. This is my x, this is my y. The biggest mistake I can make here is put them in the wrong spot. Y is 0, x is 3, 0 is greater than 3, false. So now I'll pick a point up here just to be safe. Okay, I'll pick 0, 6. Right? I just need something above the red line. And so if I stick that in, this is my x, this is my y. 6 is greater than 0? Yes. So I'm going to shade where the green dot is. The whole half plane that shares that green dot. So I'm going to, again, what people will do is they'll like do this. Well, no, it's not just that. And it's not just this, right? So the solution to the red part is all of this red. The solution to the system is where they overlap. Let me get some purple, right? It's really where the blue and the red make purple. So I'll get some purple. This is my answer. Oh, and such a pretty purple. Okay, so my answer is that quadrant, that quarter of the coordinate plane. Again, it keeps going forever. It's not like it's just a triangle. And that's how you do inequalities. So what part is the answer? On inequalities, it's the shaded part. So when you're doing systems, this one should say systems, not 2.8. I will write on it and fix it. It should say graphing systems of inequalities 3.1, and the answer is where they overlap. The answer on 2.8 would be just the shaded part. The answer on 3.1 when we're doing systems is where the two shadings overlap.